Shalom Aleichem. Mishnah Yomi is continuing in Sukkah, Perek Bet, and Mishnah Bet. Hasomech Sukkato B'karei Mita Kesheira. Somebody who supports his sukkah using the legs of a bed. This is a kosher sukkah. Now, this could be that the bed is 10 tefachim off the ground, as we learned in the very first Mishnah, that you needed 10 tefachim in height for the sukkah. So, or it could be that these are the posts of the bed. It's a 4-poster bed, and they're going up even higher than 10 tefachim, but they are supporting the Sechach. So that's still okay. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Im eino yochola lamod b'fnei atzma, if the sukkah wouldn't stand by itself, if you pulled out the bed, the Sechach would dip down and fall off the walls, pesula, then it is no good. This is Rabbi Yehuda's shita, his opinion that the sukkah can be keva and indeed should have some sort of permanent structure. Should be a good structure, a livable structure, not something where if you pulled out the bed that was supporting one corner of the Sechach, the whole thing falls down. The Mishnah continues, Sukkah ham duvlelet. Duvlelet is an interesting word. Like balul is like mixed or confused in Ivrit, and duvlelet it's like it's uneven. The Bartner says you have some Sechach is going up, some is going down. Like there's some angles here. Not everything is on the same level vertically. Some is up there, some is down here. It's all over the place. So you might think this is a problem. The Mishnah says v'shetzilot l'meruba mechamata. But in this case, the shade it provides is more than the sunshine. Ksheira. It is still good. The Bartner points out this is even when, because the Sechach is at angles and is uneven, that at most of the day, because of the angle of the sun, you're going to get a lot of sun in the sukkah, maybe even majority, but we pretend, we look at this halachically as if the sun is directly overhead, and if directly overhead, the Sechach does block most of the sun, and it provides shade, that is still good. The Mishnah continues, Hamba'uba kamin bait, if the Sechach is very thick, like the ceiling of a house, even though you can't see the stars through the Sechach because it's very thick, ksheira. It's still a kosher sukkah, even though the Sechach mamish blocks everything. But the Mefarshim do learn out from here that it's ideal if you could see the stars through the Sechach if there's some little measure of gaps. On to Mishnah Gimel. Someone makes his sukkah on top of a wagon, or barosha sfina, or on top of the deck of a boat. Kesheira. It's still a good sukkah, only in lab Yom Tov, and you can use it on Yom Tov. Now, this is even though these are possibly moving things. A wagon, a boat, they're not very stable. They're not a good dirah. They're not really a permanent dwelling from the instability, but they're still a dwelling. They're still good enough. Now, the Mishnah contrasts barosha ilan, on top of a tree, or al gabe gamal, or on top of a camel. Apparently, that's a large camel. It might be a 2-hump camel. Ksheira. It's still a kosher sukkah, ve'ein olin la b'yom tov, but you can't use it on Yom Tov, because again, we can't use a tree, and we can't use a camel on Yom Tov. Shtayim be'ilan, if 2 of the walls of the sukkah are leaning on trees, ve'achad b'dei adam, and one is standing by itself as a man-made structure, ushtayim b'dei adam, or 2 walls are standing by themselves, achad be'ilan, and one is leaning on the tree, kasheira, this is still a kosher sukkah, ein olin la b'yom tov, but you can't use this on Yom Tov. Now, the reason being, on Yom Tov and Shabbat, we have a gezerah about using trees, mishtamshot be'etz, that we can't use trees because someone's climbing trees or hanging items on trees. They might come to break a branch or pluck something off the tree. It did come up every once in a while, way back in the day in yeshiva, someone would forget and hang their hat or their mincha coat on the tree branch on Shabbos, and then it's stuck. You can't take it off on Shabbos anymore. It's mamish, it's stuck to the tree the rest of Shabbos. So here the idea is, if your sukkah depends on the tree, then you can use it. It's a kosher sukkah chol hamoed, but not on Shabbat and Yom Tov. Mishnah continues, shalosh b'dei adam v'achad b'ilan. If you have 3 walls that are firmly man-made structures on the ground, and one is leaning on a tree, ksheira. It's a good sukkah v'olin la b'yom tov, and you could still use it on Yom Tov and Shabbat. Zeh klal. This is the general rule. Kol shenita le'ilan. Anytime you could take away the tree, v'yachola la'amod b'fnei atzma, and the sukkah would still be standing by itself. You have those 3 walls firmly rooted on the ground. Kesheira, it's a kosher sukkah, ve'olin la b'yom tov, and you can use it on Yom Tov, you can use it on Shabbat. There's no problem of having the tree provide extra support, as long as the sukkah itself is okay without the tree. Yashar kochachem and zay gezult.